Values and vulnerabilities. Since the beginning of human society, one of our biggest challenges between going alone or being part of a community has been the conflict of values. In fact, till today, the reason a group of individuals come together and form a community is by far common values. For our ancestors, these values were as simple as finding a mean of survival. For us, they are way more sophisticated and advanced. We share them, protect them, promote them, and die for them, under the influence of the belief that tells us our values are more superior than others. Historically, we have gone to great extreme to gain power, mainly to protect our values, just because of the fact we are most vulnerable when it comes to them. Now, here we are, vulnerable in the face of a tiny virus. They say it was produced in the labs of one of the major propagandas in the world that has crippled us like never before. We experience fear rubbing to our face after decades of calling fear an archive feeling, condemning it, and pushing it away. We thought we eliminated fear from our society. We became safe with our technological advancement. We could predict future and plan for next many years in our business plans, but then we realized fear is encoded in our DNA and we are still very much moved by it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a safe space to share fears and hopes, to a space to be honest with yourself for as short as a glimpse. Maybe shiver under the threat of walking naked into a crowd of unknown faces, but trust that you will be held by kind hands. Welcome to Vulnerable Talks. Kindly open your arms and embrace these amazing guest speakers who trust themselves and they trusted you to share their personal stories for just 3 minutes. Be mindful of the judgment of mind. Be kind as you pass the comment. And if you feel brave enough to stand in this lineup, write to me or Özkan and you will be in the queue. Özkan and I are your host for tonight. Let's see what Özkan says about himself. I'm going to write what he just wrote to me. For a very long time, he has been a finance person. At some point, he has listened to his heart. And first time ever on stage, theater has become an immediate passion, leading to his transformation. Today, he's in his flow and he believes to have found his element. He's mentoring in business via his talks, workshop, and guidance. His focus is on change, innovation, engagement, and genuine leadership. You can see his work on ozkanzere.com and his YouTube channel under his name, Özkan Zere. Thank you so much, Özkan Jim. You are the heart and soul of this talk. Please tell us.
Thank you. Thank you for this lovely intro and your precious words that just you have shared with us at the start, and your most warm, heartfelt welcoming, and also listening to myself, my own scribble about myself from you has been really a fantastic experience for me. Thank you for introducing myself as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vulnerable Talks. This is the 5th session we're holding. We started in May, and I think the series might continue for a while. We have been quite energetic about it, and we have put our efforts. Let me just briefly read about Sheri. I mean, she is the person behind this idea. She came knocking at my door, and I was a bit, as always, slow. This is my pace. I'm if I start, I'm quick. But I decided, and then we kicked on, and here we are for the fifth session. Let's see what Sheri wrote about herself. Sheri, she's a multidisciplinary healer, a sound therapist who has been traveling since 2001. Been to China, India, Australia, and many other places. She's practically holistic healing, bringing spirituality into daily lifestyle and help individuals to transform their reality. She's expert in emotional intelligence and human empowering. You can find some of her sound therapy sessions on her YouTube channel and in her website, both under the name of Sound Therapy Center. We are happy to be here with you, and I will share our emails and you can write to us if you, firstly, we thank this evening's, tonight's 7 guests that they have accepted to be with us. And I'm happy to have these wonderful lineup. Let me just quickly show who we are going to meet tonight. Tonight we have guests from Sydney, from Vienna, and where else?
Ibiza.
Ibiza for sure. And he was born in Mexico but living in Istanbul right now. Let me just show you the 7 speakers. Yes, we will start with Ceren. They have exchanged spaces. Ceren is going first, then Biba, then Yaz, then Ernesto, then Yeliz, then Roy, and Canay. They will briefly give their vulnerable speech in 3 minutes each. I have to thank to everyone who is participating here and being in the audience with us. This is a safe place to share and to listen without prejudice. I kindly request everyone in this session to be here as they have just come to this world. So listen without prejudice. Whom should we thank? I mean, we are a family. We are a Love Mafia family.
We are a Love Mafia family, and if you're curious what Love Mafia is, I'm going to share the platform in the chat box and you can check us and our home joint idea. Many of participants are part of the family, and we are very thankful to Elif being with us and helping us with administrative, and also I don't know if what was that name? Designer.
Yeah, I mean, we are just a bunch of people. Yeah.
Azra for her input about the designs, although
Exactly.
right now Özkan is doing. Okay, so Özkan'cığım, let's start without
start.
Spending more of time. Let's start with our first speaker, Ceren.
Ceren, yeah.
Here, are you here with us?
Hi everyone. Yes, I am here with you.
Let's see what Ceren says about herself. A philanthropist, an entrepreneur, a producer, a poet, a mediator, a traveler, and a believer that we are all more than the eye can see. Ceren'cığım, microphone is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for giving me this platform to be able to express our vulnerable sides. And I think that's what makes all of us more beautiful, because, we find a reality, a truth of who we are in the vulnerability of others. And we learn from each other. So it is most important that we share our weaknesses sometimes than our strengths. And that is, I think, very helpful for us to connect, because that's what makes us human, right? Not our strengths. Sometimes our vulnerabilities makes us more human and even more attractive. So I will start by talking about this period, which we are all going through, right? So this period, one of my most difficult things to come to terms with obviously uncertainty in terms of what's coming next, what I want from life, where I stand, where I live. Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right people? Am I doing the right work? What's going on with my life? So it kind of made me, take a step back and look into, am I happy with my life? Am I happy with who I am? So it made me criticize some aspects of who I have become. It made me face my fears I saw that I was very fearful of not belonging somewhere. I was very fearful of um, not being able to take out the truth of who I am and share it with others. I was afraid, I saw that I was afraid of being lonely. I was afraid of losing, you know, so all of these things just came up to the surface, especially during these times. So I kind of saw my fear straight in the face of it. I looked into the face of what my fears were. And uncertainty is the biggest title that I would use to describe this period. You know, in that uncertainty, I think we can all, empathize with that. I mean, there comes financial insecurities. Am I going to be able to maintain a lifestyle that I've been maintaining until now? Is it going to change from now on? What do I have to do to recreate myself? You know, in terms of relationships, you know, am I going to maintain my friendships because I won't be able to travel anymore during this period, etc., etc. So it's been a little bit of you know, digging deep, and as I dug deep, I came to terms with uncertainty being sometimes a liberator. You know, because when things are uncertain, when you don't know what's next, you actually have more freedom. And because you have more freedom, you're able to be more creative. And when we're more creative, then you're more open, and then more you know, possibilities come into your life. And I saw that during this period, I was able to reach, or people from all around the world were able to reach me more directly than ever before. It was very interesting. Like, even people of very high levels that I thought would be impossible to talk to were like a Zoom call away. And it became more intimate. Like, I found that all my relationships, both in business and in you know, my personal life, became much more real, much more friendly. And because everybody was going through the same kind of experience, so everybody was like, so how are you handling it? So the conversation started off with a very warm comment. So I think I saw that uncertainty brought more freedom into the way I started thinking. And as I started becoming more free in the way I perceive, I saw more opportunities. And as you see more opportunities, then you end up doing more things. I mean, right now, I'm more pleased with myself and with my life than ever before. It is so interesting. It's really like unbelievable. I'm having probably one of the best times of my life, thank God, because business wise, you know, I tapped into areas that I hadn't tapped into before because I was direct with people. Personal relationship wise, the same thing. So I think that when you are faced with uncertainty, what you have to do is trust life more. And as you trust life, as you don't think of tomorrow, things just come to you. It's so interesting. I mean, the more I surrender to life, the more I surrender to whatever you want to call it, like a greater power, things just happen. Things happen on their own. And now I'm experiencing this kind of like a miraculous form of flowing where things just fall into place with less effort. And the more truthful you are with the people you're in communication with, they open up even more. Then everything becomes more intimate and everything becomes more fun and it becomes more joyful. So I think, you know, the lesson that I learned from this whole period is, yes, things are uncertain. It's going to get more uncertain, but that doesn't mean it's going to get worse. That doesn't mean it's going to get more difficult. On the contrary, it can get easier. It's just the way you perceive it. And the more you trust life, the more you let go, things are going to get easier for you. I think this, you know, my key word right now is ease. You know, to have things with ease, to live with ease, to love with ease. I think that is my you know, secret word nowadays is ease. And I'm happy to share this with you, and I hope you will find this useful in your, you know, day-to-day practice or your lifestyle as well. Let's just have an easygoing, flowing life because life is beautiful.
Thank you so much for being with us. Where are you connecting, Ceren?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I have to leave early. I'm so sorry.
I just wanted to tell to our participants that Ceren might leave early. So there are two things I wanted you to consider, to all our dear audiences who are with us. Their microphones are mute, but the chat box is available. Please, when you're listening to speakers talking, if you have something to say about them, please write in the comments. And I think Özkan wanted to tell you something about the keywords. So Ceren has given us a lot of keywords, but to our speakers, please be mindful of the 3 minutes. If you see me jumping in between, you get the point that the 3 minutes is about to get over. Okay, thank you so much, Ceren'cim. Where are you connecting from? Are you in Istanbul, in Turkey?
I'm in Bodrum actually. I hopefully next week I'll be in Istanbul, but
Enjoy
I'm in Bodrum.
A lot, and if you get disconnected, we say goodbye to you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, who is next, Özkan'cim?
I thank you, Ceren. It was a lovely speech, and for the first time in the 5th session, somebody called vulnerability in its face as a beauty. So thank you. Who's next? Our lovely Yaz is next. Let me just quickly share his screen. But to the audience, I have just a quick announcement. If you're listening to Ceren, or now you're going to listen to Yaz, between each speaker, just refresh yourselves, because there comes a new person. And after each speaker, or during the speech of each and every speaker, if a keyword is popping up in you can just 1 or 2 words, you can write it in the chat box. Now comes Yaz, and let me just quickly introduce him.
Yaz, are you with us?
I think he has to unmute himself. Yaz. Yaz, consumer psychology, industrial organs. You're here, right?
I'm here.
Let me just quickly read your words. Consumer psychology, industrial organizational psychology, U.S. Air Force, aeronautical engineering, and meteorology. The mic is yours.
Hello. Well, thank you very much for actually having me, everyone. I do have to say that I had many different things that I was saying, but seeing how the flow, the vulnerability talks is going, I'll get right to the point. This is probably the time that I've been most myself, only because I'm always in a state of chaos. I'm always in uncertainty. I never have any certainty in my life. I've always lived with it like that. So I find it very amazing that people find this clarity, as Ceren was pointing out, when uncertainty and giving in. This has pretty much been my life entirety. My biggest fear, my biggest factor that I feel I deal with the most is the judgment of others. Not that I care so much of their judgment, it's because their judgment is a reflection of what they are. And this is something that I've been knowing about people, humanity, and everybody that I interact with for a very long time now. And that is that when you judge someone, you're actually revealing your nature to that person for the fact of how you're judging them. So if you're aware and you're able to be empathic and have feelings of, deeper in touch with, especially yourself, then you automatically see how other people are facing certain issues themselves, which result in them judging you the way they do. So I don't fear the fact of being judged. I fear that the judgment that I'm seeing is just really off the charts and very not a very good outlook for me in the sense of dealing with people and around in general, because they're so caught up in, as Ceren was saying, the uncertainties and the fears and everything, that they're lashing out and they just don't realize that that's the whole beauty of it, is giving into that uncertainty. And once you do, it all comes into play. So, and I like to give this example. If you're ever doing anything with an autonomic system, your autonomic system is being overtaken by subconsciously. It comes from repetition. If you repeat something over and over again to the point where your muscle memory kicks in, your autonomic system just starts doing it, and next thing you know, off you go. Piano is a great example, and a lot of people attest to this. If you're playing a piano and you have it just down, but the moment you stop and you focus on your fingers, all of a sudden you start to clam up, because you're trying to assign each finger its job and everything. You're micromanaging, and it messes everything up. So, and I think this is what's going on in the world right now. Everyone's paying too much attention, too much focus. You got to let it go, and they just got to let the greater energy of flow, higher power, however you want to call it, I call it the universal consciousness, just take over and put you in its course. And I have many things to gripe about, many kinds of things to complain about, One of the biggest ones that I would be is probably the fact that I am, well, able to do everything. And once I see everybody doing everything as the way they can, I feel that there's no need for me. So I step back. But right now in this state and point, I see that at least there are people that will be able to keep and take up the torch, and I'd like to watch them do it. So that's my contribution. And I think I have 3 seconds left, 2, 1, and that's 3.
That was great.
Well, was fantastic.
Thank you.
One of the most efficient speeches ever. Thank you, Yas.
No problem. Take care.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna have to chit off too, because I have this other meeting that are going to be coming up in about 15 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
But I
Thanks
really
for-
appreciate you guys having us on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Yas.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice to have you here. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so
Sheri.
Özkan, today is quite different. First of all, 2 of our speakers, they fly off before time, which we didn't experience before. So it gives a little bit more time to the other 5 speakers during the Q&A session. Yeah, at the end we have
And also, this is just a perfect example of uncertainty. It's the first time in the 5th session that 2 of our guests had to leave after they speak. It's nice. I mean, this is what it is, life.
Yeah, exactly. This session in so many ways is very special for both of us. It's because it's number 5, and number 5 is the universal number of compassion and love. And we have so many awesome speakers. I mean, the 2 who have already spoken and gone, they were awesome enough. But we have people who traveled during the time of Corona, and they are talking to us from different parts of the world. They have people who have challenges. So I don't know why. Okay.
Shall we just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who is the next?
Now on screen, I think.
Okay.
Biba.
The artist.
Hi.
I think it's your turn, Sheri, to introduce.
Artist, spiritual coach, world traveler, a guide, mystical adventurers of awakening. Let's dance the future into existence. Biba, my dear, microphone is yours from the beautiful Sydney.
Hi, so great to be here. Hello, everyone. Well, 3 minutes, I'm going to press start. So, yes, I had a challenge in the beginning when I was told about the lockdown. I was in Mexico at the time, and I was due to stay there until April. And so I had to make a decision whether I go back to my home and my loft in Istanbul or to come to my family in Australia. And I haven't lived in Australia for over 10 years, but I come here every summer to see my family. But there's not a lot of going on here. Anyway, I came here and it was very interesting. I found myself in a very safe place, in a very loving environment. The nature was fabulous, and things were relaxed. And I had an opportunity to be in a very blank space. All my contracts ended. I was a little bit concerned about financial income, but I really wasn't too afraid for some reason. I was very confident in the universe and what was happening, and I was trusting everything quite well. And while I was experiencing a lot of meltdown in witnessing people freaking out, I was a little concerned about what was going to happen. I think from the theme that's been presented today, you know, the uncertainty for me as a sort of a nomad. This is also a way that I like Yaz, you know, it's a very common place for me to be. And I think a few years ago, a really beautiful friend of mine said to me, you know, uncertainty is the safest place to be, or the unknown is the safest place to be. And we just laughed about it because we're both like nomads with never really even knowing next month if we were going to be in the place where we were, and really listening from our inner drive and our inner wisdom to choose what was going on. And so it was a big decision for me to come to Australia, but I knew it was correct. And in hindsight, it was. And the challenges that I dealt with were very much around how to express myself. All of a sudden, all my channels had dried up. You know, I was doing shows and I was sharing my music and I was launching my album, and all of a sudden there was no show. My launch of my album was just flat. And so there was a disappointment, but it was also like, oh, what is this new world we're in? What is the new situation we're facing? And because I, use art and dance and music therapy to deal and to cope, it was really like my natural way to like want to express more in this. And so I dove into being more creative and really looking at ways to express myself. Because being alone and being in my place by myself, or even with my mom, but just many hours on my own without having creativity and art, it was just like not an option. So I spent a lot of time using art, using music, even just making a playlist on Spotify or actually like constructing music. This is one of the major keys for me. My time is up. I don't know what to say. I'm like in the middle of a sentence, but I just wanted to express, the importance of art and the importance of music for me at this time, and the possibilities of freedom in the unknown and the creating a new future for us all.
Thank you so much, my dear. What time is it right now in Sydney?
4 a.m.
Awesome. You're beautiful. I'm so thankful for you to come online. Biba is an amazing artist. She organizes this dance sessions, which is called, what is it called?
Alchemy of Dance.
Alchemy of Dance. Yeah, she has this amazing playlist also on Spotify. Please share your links with us in the chat box for people so they can follow you. Yeah, thank you so much. Oskan, Jim, who's next?
And Biba, hope to see you back in Istanbul and see your performances, hopefully. And this is a chance that I can meet you.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be dancing as soon as we get there in 1 month. Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. Now, who's next? Thank you. And let's go on. And I remind everyone again, just briefly refresh your minds now. Each and every speaker is a new gem. Listen to every person with your heart. I'm just going to share the screen once again quickly. Now, our next guest is Ernesto. I think it's my time to read.
Yes,
Ernesto,
dear Ernesto.
Let me just quickly read his words.
Unmute your microphone.
Yeah, he's going to unmute himself. Ernesto, a musician and body awareness teacher, a facilitator of dances of universal peace. He was born in Mexico and currently lives in Istanbul. Welcome to Vulnerable Talks. The stage is yours, the mic is yours, Ernesto.
Thank you very much, dear friends. It's so beautiful to share this space with you. And it's so interesting for me to listen to the experiences of the people who have spoken before me, because I resonate with so many of these things, in deep things and in more like everyday or superficial things. For example, at the beginning of this year, just like Biba, I was in Mexico with my partner. And there was a possibility of getting stuck there. We didn't know it at the time, but we almost stayed in Mexico without knowing that the virus was going to also cover all this territory. But eventually we ended up in Istanbul. And this presented a lot of challenges for me, as it has been for everyone. But one of them, I think, has to do with being an immigrant, being a foreigner. I've been an immigrant for many years now in different countries. Another thing is uncertainty, which is another thing that I resonate with, that was talked about before. And the other thing was this sense of insecurity about the future, this sense of what's going to happen. But the interesting thing about this is that this pushed me to do things that I had been postponing for the future. In my work, I work as a body therapist, and I usually do my work in person. I had played with the idea of teaching online in the past, but I never actually did it. And I thought, one day I will do it. One day I will organize my workshops online. And then suddenly I was in a place where I had to do it. And this was the only way to continue to support myself financially and to expand my work. So this led me to work online. I didn't think that I was prepared to do it, but then it turned out that it's been working well. And so this has been an interesting teaching, that from this very strong challenge and from this place of fear at the beginning, came the solution that was already inside of me, that I had already thought of doing this, but the circumstances pushed me to do it. Another thing, of course, has to do with for those of us who are in a relationship and are with our partner locked in place, these 3 months together was also a very important challenge that has not finished, and it's an ongoing process. We're still talking about it. We're still figuring out things day by day, looking for help in other places with different resources. So this has been also a very deep thing that I see that some of you are resonating with it also, because I see your faces. The relationship challenge, it has been a very deep one, but also an opportunity for love, for compassion, and for reaching into the resources that we have been building through all the experiences that we have been having in life, through all the teachings. And my time's up. I wanted to say so many more things, but for now, I think find one last thing. Just like Biba, art as a musician, for me also music has been very important, and playing music, listening to music, discovering new music, it has been a very important lifeline to go through these times. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ernesto, for being with us. At the end, we have 10 minutes of Q&A, and if you have more things to share, don't worry, you'll get a chance.
Thank you very much, Sheri.
Yes, thank you for your sharing. And I during these times, I found art as a channel as well myself. Never painted since I was in primary school. I started water painting, and those paintings were just a channel. And that came up the stories on those water paintings. Art is a channel, and thank you for this wonderful sharing. And you will have time to, if you feel like you want to add something at the end, we will have the mic with you. So who's next?
Yeah, sure. Just I wanted to add something that Ernesto is doing this amazing body work called Intelligent Movement. If you are curious to know more about it, Ernesto, please share our website with us, because it's an amazing thing. I want you to talk a little bit about it, and also about Dances of Universal Peace, that both of us are part of it. So during the Q&A time, okay? Thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, please share it in the chat box. Our lovely Yeliz is next. You want to read?
Oh my God, the star. Yeliz, Jim, are you with us? Yeliz, Turkish means a star, isn't it?
Yeliz actually means in Turkish small winds. You know, my last name is Rüzgar, that means wind, and Yeliz is breeze. It's like smaller, like the sign of the wind.
Okay, that's amazingly nice. Okay, let me see what Yeliz has to write about herself. Purpose coach, speaker. Her mission is to inspire, energize, transform, for creating a meaningful, fulfilled life. In love, unity, and in peace. This is Jim.
Jenum, hi. Hello. It is just so amazing to see beautiful faces, and I've been seeing your notes, so hi to you as well. Thank you very much for this opportunity for me to share, and I'm going to do my best to speak as quick as I can, because you know, when you give me the microphone, I go on. So Sheri, I'm going to trust you on my timing. Again, thank you very much. I'm so grateful to be here, and we've been talking about uncertainty. And I've had a lot of that in my life, and I'm grateful to that. The reason why I'm grateful to uncertainty is because it helped me to train my mind to think in a different way. In the past, when I first came across with uncertainty, I would think for days, and I would think and ask myself questions like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? And I would ask questions like, what am I going to do? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my life? So later on, the more I faced uncertainty, including not having a home, had to stay in my car, not having any money, had to lend some money, not having any food, so I had to eat at somebody else's house, and having people helping me, gave me that inner certainty somehow. There are good people out there that are gonna help you when you're in need. So coming from all these old experiences, And thanks to Ernesto mentioning being an immigrant, because at those times I was an immigrant in America. And then I came back to Turkey, and the first thing that I was thinking when the war of Syria happened was, oh my God, what's going to happen to the immigrants? You know, after all this war, what's going to happen to them? They just immigrated to Turkey, and now we have this thing called COVID. So at times of uncertainty, I trained my mind to think as, this is not about me, this is about we, and how can I serve in this position? Because when I stop focusing on me, the fear goes away. So I called my friends as soon as I heard that there's going to be a lockdown. I called my friends from UNDP and I said, what's going to happen to the immigrants? Because they were just gone by the border and they were living in tents. And then I talked with the health department and I looked for ways and I connected to China. So I used all my network in a way to find a solution for someone that is more in need than I am. That really helped me to shift my mind from a fear position to a love and compassion position. At times of uncertainty, 3 things that I do. 1, I shift my focus from the things that I can control. So I do not focus on things that I can't control. All of a sudden, I ask myself the question, what's in my control now? Who I can influence? Or how can I give certainty to myself, to my family, to my workers, to my business, as well as the people out there? And I find certainty through spirituality. To be quite honest, the very first thing that I did was I went to Mother Mary with Dimitrios from Music Medicine. I'm sure you've seen the post that we were posting, and there was this lockdown, so we couldn't get into Mother Mary, but we were there praying. So knowing that there's a higher force out there, that we are guided and that we're safe and we can do whatever we can at our best and then leave it to the rest, gave me so much certainty within. Then I came back and I started to focus on how can I serve, what can I give to others. Yes, my business went down to 0 from an amount, so that was a lot of uncertainty. But then I started to focus on the things that I have. I said, okay, I am a creative person. I have a beautiful network, Love Mafia and other people out there in the world. So I'm going to connect with that network. I started to focus on my network, and then things start to grow from there. So simply at times of uncertainty, controlling my focus and focusing on others rather than myself really helped me to shift from a fear mode to a loving and compassionate mode. I don't know how I'm doing with time. I think I'm kind of doing good.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Amazing.
Half an hour to go.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this powerful sharing, Yeliz, Jim. And we're going to have more time to contemplate about what you said, because you said really important things. Fear position to love position. This is something that we need. Thank you so much.
And to me, the most
mm-hmm.
To me, the most important message is like, just think about others. Stop focusing on self. The fear just pushes us inside. But when you go outside and think of others, that's the path to happiness. Let's go. Vamos.
Let's go on. Okay. Now look, I see a face that makes me very happy. Look who's that.
Yeah, first I'm gonna share his, let me just, we have a friend from Vienna, originally from Israel, if I'm not wrong. Roy is here. Hello, Roy, you're unmuted.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Yeah, just let me quickly, briefly read your words, and then I'm going to pass the mic to you. Roy, I have survived terrible illness, war, and ending a relationship. But little did I know that the biggest heartbreak will be leaving my own company. The stage and the mic is yours.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm on my way back to Vienna from Slovenia. I stopped on the border just so I can have peace and quiet to talk to you guys, and I'm always
You're
happy to
awesome.
be among my loving Love Mafia family. Enjoy the idea, family. For me, COVID started as actually kind of a blessing because it was my first official rest after a few very tough years as a startup founder. And sometimes we're kind of ashamed to say that the COVID was a blessing. I know that Jenan said it too, but it was the first 2 months were actually amazing, and I had to rest, and everything was all right. And as far as time went on, I noticed something strange going on inside of me. I'm kind of going back to my sources and to myself, which was very strange because this time is full of uncertainty and fear, supposedly, and you're stuck and locked in the same room. Um, but I thought that actually, after a while, returning to the Roy I used to love and know before, and instead of being afraid of being home all the time, I was actually really happy to be there. People don't know it here maybe about me, but I spent more than 10 years in my life in bed due to a terrible illness. And at the first few weeks of Corona, I had some glimpses of this reminder to myself that it's very scary to be in the same position. But after a while, it started to be actually a blessed time. And everything was going well. I even got some online talks. Everything was going fine. And my startup became from a very secretive stealth startup to a product on the market. After 2 weeks on the market, we had 100 paying customers. But if it would have happened in any other time of my life, I would have just gone in 100 kilometers per hour with my startup, with my talks, with my charities. But because I was so connected to myself with Corona, I woke up one day and I realized that I'm not happy in my own company that I founded by myself and fought for 3 years to keep alive. And in a decision that took me less than 24 hours, I've decided to notify my co-founders that I'm leaving my company. You can only imagine the shock they experience. The company is just launching. We have 100 doctors using the product. We are talking with investors. But I was just feeling that if I keep on doing this, I'm not going to be in a blissful state of Corona rest. I'm going to be really back in bed because I lost alignment. And I think alignment and center is so important. And what I have to tell you is that you should really try to take this time to be centered and mindful, because sometimes our path is just too fast and we're not noticing the road ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful speech, Roy. So you were traveling as well. You hopped off the train. You were at the border, you said?
Yeah, now I went from Austria to my first vacation actually after Corona in Slovenia. The borders are open. I needed it.
Yeah, hopefully we will also see you back in Istanbul very shortly. Yeah,
that's my dream.
That's
my dream.
With for another round of kebab.
Oh yes.
Thank you so much, Roy, for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Really good to hear you. And really good points, like centering, slowing down, and questioning all the old values that has kept us stuck for something better. Because I mean, for all who know Roy, we had this workshop about TED Talk with him in Joint Idea, which was a blast, and he shared his stories with us. Please watch him. Share some of your links with us. Let people to know you more.
Yeah.
So he has this. He's actually having these workshops of teaching people how to be a TED Talk speaker. And many more.
Yeah, I was there as well. We had really good information. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And
let's go.
Coming to the last speaker.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, the star of the show. Today in the panel of talks, I feel like we are having like a rock festival, because each and everybody, there are so many artists, so many people who have actually been on stage. Sorry guys, I'm like an amateur in front of all of you. I'm talking to the microphone. We are having Canay. Canay, dear, are you with us from beautiful Ibiza?
Hello.
Hello. Okay, let's see. Canay, co-founder of Conscious Learning Tribe, global cultural innovation and conscious business model designer, and Children First World activist. Canay, please.
Thank you, Sheri. Zkan, joint idea, and everybody who is here with us. I'm so grateful to be here and being a part of this vulnerable talks. It's very rare that we have this opportunity of sharing. Yeah, like many of us, immediately, but maybe before many of you, I started losing my business opportunities starting last March. And in a couple of weeks, due to cancellations, I went also back to zero. But more than the stress of the money, my heart was aching, because I could not travel back to Istanbul, where my daughters are, due to my residency card appointment was on hold. And my daughters, they couldn't fly to Ibiza either. So by today, almost for the last 5 months, I couldn't hug and kiss my daughters. And it's really, really hard as a mother. So I had to face my fears, my insecurities, and anger against many unfairness and inequalities around the world, of corrupted systems, which puts one more higher than the other. But there came also a lot of shame and guilt attached to it. So I was in this jungle of emotions, and I felt like losing myself, at least my sense of identity, that I am this or that. And like a person drowning in the sea, I made a decision. I was not going to panic. And that's when I surrendered. And life started lifting me up when I surrendered. My partner Rudy and I, we invested our last money on speeding up the digital platform that we started last year as a side gig, the Conscious Learning Tribe, which is an online learning platform, and our online event series, theunconference.com. We knew it was us who could bring hope and remind love to our communities in an authentic way. Our honesty, boldness, and love for service have been bringing us so many inspirational global influencers, beautiful souls, and opportunities. And I'm so grateful that we are doing this. The moment we jumped off the cliff, our wings opened, and they not only flew us, but also inspired our network of people around the world. But I want to also highlight change in the thoughts and emotions can only happen in a healthy body. Last 3 months, we have been intermittent fasting. As a vegan, I was already eating plant-based, but this diet is very strict, and it removes all the processed food and carbs like everyday food, for example, bread. I don't eat it anymore. I'm meditating, breathing, exercising, doing yoga, and taking cold showers almost every day. I am regenerating. And in order to decrease our dependency on the commercial food systems, we started drinking water from our well here and growing our own food in the farm next to our house. This experience with the soil, the seeds, and the whole nature collaborating with life to flourish transformed my way of seeing what is food and what conscious businesses can be like, respecting the nature and this whole process, this cycle of life. That's why I'm launching a new type of leadership program, a feminine leadership program to design conscious businesses next week, and I'm so excited about it. We also finished an emotional and spiritual healing called Shadow Illumination, cutting the cord of intergenerational trauma heritage. Now I understand why I was separated, kept away from my daughters so that I could do the work, my inner work, to really love myself unconditionally. And I'm getting there. I see the glimpses. Soon my daughters will be joining us in Ibiza. I'm so ready and so excited. And I am so grateful to Ibiza and the communities who have been supporting us, because now I feel that this is my home and the children first world. My dream is becoming my reality. I think we shall be prepared for challenges to continue. I don't think it's easy. And I don't think avoiding fear can take us anywhere. In order to go beyond fear, we need to go through it. And one thing that we need to learn is to love ourselves. And until then, we can keep on repeating cycles of trauma and climate change and pandemics. It starts with us and it ends with us. So it is us and only us who can decide whether this darkness, these shadows, are the tomb, the death, or the womb to give birth to new versions of ourselves and to new humanity, a new future. So thank you.
Excellent, Canay. Amazing. I cannot deny that I had tears in my eyes, but I'm so grateful for all the wisdom that you shared with us and all the project that you have delivered as a mother, as a woman, as a self-healer. And yeah, thank you so much. Please share some of the link of your projects with us in the chat group for the rest of the people so we can follow you, follow your amazing work.
Yeah, and normally, Sheri, you know, I jump into the conversation after each and every speaker. It's one of the few times that I'm silencing myself because I'm just grasping what Canay has really genuinely shared with us. Thank you, Canay. It was totally genuine, and we felt you, all of us. And I felt like I want to be in the new workshops that you're developing. I want to be a participant in them. Yeah.
Please do. I'm going to share the link here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Sheri, how are we doing? It's like midnight already, or?
It is. Yeah, it's almost after everybody talking for 2 hours. Okay, so there's 2 or 5 speakers. You have right now a few minutes, 10 minutes almost, to share, comment, add. Please unmute your microphones, and if you have something to say, please go ahead.
I think Ernesto has something to add and share. Yeah,
Yes,
please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to talk about something that Alper mentioned very briefly. The Dances of Universal Peace is a work that both Alper and Sheri are also doing here in Turkey. I started doing this in Colombia a few years ago. And this brings me to, maybe it's related actually, I'm not sure, but maybe it's related to the kind of work that Biba is doing, or some of you have experienced before. But it has to do also with what Canay said about the importance of the body and having she talked more even from the biological perspective, but in this case, using your body also for the more profound experience, for the transcendental experience. I think that this is a very important thing, that this virus has called our attention to our bodies, and we can use this call of attention to as an opportunity to improve. In the Dances of Universal Peace, we combine this movement, the dancing, the being in community together as a group, the music, and also the repetition of sacred phrases, of mantras, of praying. And unfortunately, this is one of the many activities that was interrupted because of the pandemic. But inshallah, we will come back to that soon, because it's something that we really need. This kind of activities as a healing, as a group, is something that we need. And in a way, we are doing it here. We are healing as a group, and I am sure that all of us are more nourished after listening to each other and very touched by what each one of us is sharing. But yeah, I hope that we can hold hands again soon, and using art, using movement, and using this deeper connection between us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for adding this information. Actually, there is something which was very interesting in today's talk. All the speakers have mentioned something about the importance of body, the attention that we're supposed to give to our own bodies, to our slowing down the process, to being with ourselves in any form that we can to heal and to get back to our feet as a way to the future.
Yeah, and I would like to add something. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I really am very grateful for this period. I mean, it's been almost like 3 months, and in that 3 months period, there were no planes. The cars were not out there. So not only that the part of the evolution was helping us to heal, but it was also helping the world to heal. We cut down carbon dioxide going out so much because of this virus. I think it was like, I believe that there are no coincidences in life and everything is a sign. I think this coronavirus came with a sign to every soul, to everyone, and everyone had a different message from it. I almost felt like the earth was telling us, like, stop, like, you have accumulated so much negativity. I just need to send you something back, that you see it and you stop doing the things that you've been doing to me. So I really do feel grateful to this virus for the message that it brought to us. But again, of course, I'm feeling sad because I lost close ones too, and many other people as well. But it was a sign for us to wake up. It was a wake-up call. So I am grateful to Corona.
Grateful, yes. We are all in so many different ways.
I'll say one more thing.
Biba.
Sure, Biba.
Kind of on the theme of the body and on the theme of, the fear and the chaos and the uncertainty and everything, I do think that there is, and now especially because I'm in Australia, I've noticed the re-emergent back into the world. In Australia, there's probably like 5 people with coronavirus. It's really like nothing's happening here. But there's still a very strong sense of fear in the universe. And even me, and I've been reading everything, and I'm feeling very confident in the threats and what I'm dealing with in real time. And I'm going on the bus and this kind of thing, and I'm still sensing this fear inside me and inside the universe around me, and we'll call Australia for now. And the reintegration or going back into the world, I think, is going to be super interesting. And because one thing that I found is interesting about fear is that it does get locked in our bodies. And when we have a traumatic experience, whether it's just one moment of shock or just like this continual like media and this and that and the not knowingness, there is an entrenchment that happens and it locked in. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some psychological reason and words for it, but so my kind of message is the idea that, the reintegration is going to be really important from this place of silence, one, only to bring our own self into our new version of the universe with all our new awarenesses, but also dealing with our bodies and releasing some of this DNA kind of trauma in some level that we've been like holding, like what's going to happen, and even seeing the need for me. So for me, I use dance and a voice. I mean, Ernesto, the mantras, this kind of thing it's like super powerful, and Sheri's music and everything. And I think these vehicles of mental processing are going to be super important for us to actually reintegrate. And I'm stepping up big time to start talking about the value of also clearing fear, like and anger. A lot of the racial anger that's been coming up. And I mean, this is a massive release, and this stuff has to come out. And through music and dance, you can actually clear a lot of that stuff in a very safe way, so that, the love can come in, because it's very difficult to put loving and compassion and peace on top of fear and anger, so this stuff needs to be processed out of the system. So but just to cast our minds forwards on how we're going to do the integration process, because what I'm seeing is not what I expected. I thought, but it's actually not. It's actually like, you know, there's an innate fear that it's interesting how much it actually runs me, and I would say, you know, people in general.
Thank you so much, Biba. That's really very interesting, because there are other musicians also in the group. I think they all agree with the fact that how music is actually led us naturally to let go of the fear we have experienced in Dance of Universal Peace with Ernesto in last year's camp, and also in your Alchemy of Dance session. That how easy it is to actually integrate with something which we call it essence, and it's so difficult on a normal basis to access it, but music actually take us there so naturally and so organically, and so I mean with less effort. Okay, so before we continue, yes, Özkan, we have like special people in the crowd, yeah?
Yes, maybe we say hi to them.
Yes.
Canay, you want to step
Canay's daughter are here.
My daughters May, Mia, and their father Yunus is online now. May, Mia, canlarım.
Let's hear them. Elif'cim, if you can help us to unmute them so they could say hi, hello to their mommy and to other. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining, girls. Yunus.
Lovely to see you.
I love you so much.
You can unmute yourself, Yunus, I think. Try.
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone.
Hello, welcome. Hello, girls.
So these are my superpowers. Everything that I do, if I feel hopeless or if I feel weak, I know there is light in the end of the tunnel, because every day children are being born to teach us how to be human, how to respect each other, how to be joyful and playful. No matter what's going on out there, it's just our creation. May, Mia, çok teşekkür ederim size. It's bedtime, no?
May and Mia, thank you so much for coming online and being with us. Do you want to say something, May? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for being with us.
We are a bit shy this evening, so.
It's so unlike them.
It's nice to see their lovely faces and laughter. It's fantastic. That's enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
Just their presence is enough for us. Sheri, if any of our guests want to add something, shall we go to the closure?
Yeah, sure. Everybody, Ernesto has shared her link to listen to her music and to his online classes. Yeliz, Jim, do you want to say anything?
Are you sure you want to give me the microphone?
Maybe you want to share some link with us, because we are passing the midnight, you know.
Absolutely. Instagram is
to
the
go
best.
Back to sleep.
Instagram would be the best place for our listeners to keep on following my shares. It's my name and my last name and then official. Yeliz Rüzgar official. I daily, I wake up pretty early with the sunrise. I do my best to do my meditations then. So I share the inspirations that come to me daily. So Instagram would be the best place if they would like to keep in touch with me.
Thank you so much. Write it in the chat box. Özkan, Jim, I think we are good for tonight.
Sheri, just one last thing. We're coming to the closure, but I want to say, like, the body, the music, and each and every new people I meet. I mean, like in all these talks, I meet new people, and you know what we're doing currently, and all the time, these times, just curating. And I see these lovely people, and I want to do something with them. Hope to create some beautiful things with them. We'll think about it. Nice to meet you all, Ernesto. It was lovely to see you. I mean, lovely to see you all, but you have just new acquaintances with them. Okay, let's go to the closure. Do you have something to say, Sheri?
No, thank you so much to Biba, to Canay, to Roy, who got connected to us with time differences. Ernesto just shared a song for us. Thank you so much. I hope soon you're gonna have a concert. And I think if any of the participants would like to participate in this activity, they would like to share some vulnerability with us, Özkan is going to share our emails and the chat box. Please write to both of us or one of us. and come on the stage. We usually go one time in English, and next week there's going to be a break. And after that, from first week of July, we are going to have Turkish sessions regularly. So hopefully we are going to see all of you soon.
Yes, and for the closure, you have some few words. But well, for the ones who are still with us, thank you for staying. And what we do is actually we just say a few words right now, and afterwards, our lovely Sheri starts playing her beautiful sounds, and in silence, we just listen to her beautiful music and try to contemplate on what we have experienced this evening. You want to say something before we go to the music, Sheri?
No, we'll go to the music part.
And maybe I just read my last words from Rumi. Should I?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
go.
After that, I'm going to play some singing bowl for around 10 minutes. So please feel free to leave as you're comfortable, because we don't like to drop the meeting all of a sudden and leave everybody hanging in there disoriented. So just listen for a while, and whenever you're comfortable, you can just leave. And don't forget to share some of your feelings in the chat box before leaving.
Yeah, please join us on the next series of the Vulnerable Talks. And yeah, thank you for being with us. And you can leave whenever you want when the music starts. Enjoy. Now it's Rumi time. Listen, little drop. Give yourself up without regret. And in return, you will gain the ocean. Give yourself away, and in the great sea, you will be secure.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone, for being with us till now. I'm going to say good night right now. Oskancı. Thanks
Thank you,
for
Sheri. Thank you. Have a peaceful night.
Till next round of talk. See you later.
See you on the next round. Yeah.
See you. Bye.